Things are heating up in the crypto market as a Russian crypto exchange is seized. Texas going with the BTC holdings. Certain cryptos are hot. We'll talk HBAR and XRP along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
We're starting to see some players separate themselves along with some big news as a Russian exchange is seized by U.S. law enforcement and others. But before we get into that, you know the deal, hot, spicy, naughty, or relevant. Maybe I'll share your comment at the beginning of the next video. Lvan3577 says, please proceed singing. I like your sound. Well, thank you. Jeremy Touche dropping support on the channel. Thank you kindly, sir. Says, crypto with Klaus should at the seat at the table. For the people, of course. I would love to be able to cover this stuff. That would be so awesome. To see it in DC live, fly on the wall. James Holton says, love your news. Pissed my last remark. Last video didn't make the cut. Asparagus, only 2 times. I love the pain. That's right, because he didn't say it a 3rd time. Well done, James. Your comment made it this time around. Bitcoin sitting at 89,670. ETH is 2205. XRP at 259. While HBAR, we're going to talk about quite a bit here at the end, okay? HBAR at 23.7. Swizz deep in the green. Why? World Liberty Financial adding it to their books. Also the ETF play. XLM's hanging out at 29.8. ADA, no Charles and no maintainage of the dollar. ADA sitting at 90.5 cents. Aptos, VeChain, Arbitrum also in the red as well, with BNB rounded out at what everyone, 595. Senate banking chair moves to ND banking and crypto's risky industries. That's right. Crypto companies were labeled as risky, and even if it wasn't against the law, they were persuaded to debank crypto players. Senate Banking Committee Chair Tim Scott has introduced a bill aimed at preventing federal regulators from using reputational risk as a factor in bank supervision. Yeah, that's right. Stop the government overreach. I think we can all agree with this. Who wants the government all over their actions, all up their booty? Scott, a South Carolina Republican, well done, sir, said the legislation would curtail the weaponization of federal banking agencies by limiting the ability for regulators to use reputational risk as a component of supervision. Well done, sir, representing the great state of South Carolina. We're going to see quite a few regs evolve from this. Not just like how are we looking at cryptos, you know, securities or commodities, but also the powers that government agencies have in order to regulate crypto. It's been a wild, wild west of sorts as of now, and to be honest with you, once we get those regs, more money's going to flow. Urgent alert, Garantex exchange shuts down after a shocking 27 million in Tether frozen. Russian crypto exchange seized by law enforcement. U.S. Secret Service, working with the coalition of international law enforcement, has taken down and seized the website of Garantex, a Russian cryptocurrency exchange accused of being associated with dark markets and a little bit of money laundering, a little bit of evading sanctions and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all sorts of good, juicy stuff. I'm highlighting this because is crypto really that safe? I mean, we learned about like cold wallet hacks with Bybit. You got sites taken down like this. You see wallets get frozen, get seized. I mean, I don't know. Like, I get the not your keys, not your crypto, but I mean, does anyone really know if it's super safe? Last month, the European Union also sanctioned Garantex, saying it's closely associated with EU-sanctioned Russian banks. This is part of a package against sanctions against Russia for its invasion of the Ukraine. Now, important, obviously, to get rid of, like, money laundering and kind of naughty stuff like that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, but we have to watch for the government overreach, right? Like, are we picking winners and losers? And not necessarily about it in this sense here, in this situation, but I'm talking about in general, because it is a slippery slope. That's why I brought up the Senate Banking Committee bringing up a little bit of reeling in the government while the governments are seizing stuff. Texas Senate passes a Bitcoin strategic reserve bill. Yeah, states' rights versus federal rights. It appears that states are going to be the first players to get in this BTC action. Texas State Senate passed the BTC strategic reserve bill in a 25-5 vote on March 6th. There you go. What's awesome about that? Well, it's awesome. That's news from today. Breaking news. That's why you hit the subscribe button. Texas State Senator Charles Schwerner argued for the bill, saying it would help the U.S. state shore up its balance sheet. And guess what? It's a good way to hedge against inflation and hedge against government misspending of our money. Because essentially what happens is if the government is just pissing away our money for a lot of stuff, guess what? We're not getting our value for that money. That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, let's not start talking about crypto markets. Outflows need to keep paying attention to this. We're seeing a little bit of relief here, which is making me breathe a little bit of sigh of relief. But we had a couple of really big negative days. In fact, we had like the biggest negative day we've ever seen in the history of ETFs. You look at the 1 year and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. That's bad. Now, what we need to see though is this trend right here continue. We need to get back up to that middle and then start working our way on up to inflows, start working on the trust in the market. March 7th is going to help with that, but what's also going to help with that is if we start getting more safety and security and crypto custody stuff-wise, right? So we're going to keep an eye on the ETF inflows. Also, by the way, check out the volume. Since the November election, the volume in the crypto markets as a whole has actually been bonkers crazy. Juicy info. Okay. A broader look at the market, fear and greed, we're sitting at 30. BTC dominance overall at 60%. Market cap just under 3 trillion. HBAR, why am I bringing this up? Well, because when you look at these cryptos right here, HBAR is up big time here in the last 7 days. Also, HBAR in their yearly gains is really, really freaking awesome. That's big time. Check this out. You want to compare HBAR to something? Compare HBAR to BTC. Yeah, the biggest out there. And you can see, look at this. That is really, really substantial right there. Definitely blowing the doors off of BTC. All right, cool. Just thought I would share that with you. But no, I'm bringing this up because HBAR's got the ETF news. Canaries filed for them. That's important because we've seen that these ETFs have a lot of tug into the market, and there's a lot of correlation within the market. That's why we're paying attention to the BTC ETFs right here, the crypto ETFs as a whole right here. Better way of saying it. So we're keeping an eye on that. HBAR has stayed naughty, has stayed relevant. The volume is not bad, okay? I think a lot of us here would like to see a bit more in the volume. Right now we're currently sitting at 419 million over the last 24 hours. We would like to see the floor a bit bigger, but then again, the volume for the floor here is way better than what it's been. It's pretty close to 10 to about 12x of its pre-November election volume, which is still healthy, but it would be awesome to see it in the $1 billion mark. Speaking of $1 billion volume, there's XRP with 6.66 billion. Oh, that's a little weird. Big time volume right here. ETF plays are going to be big for XRP as well. Price action for XRP, look, I'm not going to beat this into a dead horse or anything. I'm just waiting for it to break my markers from the earlier video, so we got a little bit of time until that happens because we've been playing a little bit of ping pong today. Last 7 days, we're kind of working our way up from the lows, the correction of the buy the rumor, sell the news, crypto strategic holdings action right there, sitting at $2.60. Like I said, volume is good. We're waiting to see what March 7th brings. And I highlighted HBAR and XRP in this video for a specific reason. One was included, one wasn't. And I want to start seeing if all of a sudden the gains start favoring one way or the other. Or do the ETFs favor one way or the other? I think it's going to be very important for us to see because there's a lot of cryptos that weren't included in the strategic reserve. I think of the ones that weren't, HBAR is probably one of the best case for why it should have been. But hey, that's just me. But what are your thoughts down below? By now, we know that some of our favorite have been excluded. Some of them have been included. We're not sure on the ratios or anything like that. But what are you looking for? What shocks you about these announcements so far? Was there a player out there that you were like, yo, why weren't they invited? Or, hey, wait a minute, this person would have been a good addition. Let me know in the comments down below. Gonna keep an eye on the volume, see what March 7th brings, see what the weekend brings, and of course, everyone, choo-choo bitches.